I spent so much time on that too.
When humanity stands strong and people reach out for each other, there's no need for gods. Rhea, your reign of tyranny is over. The time has come. I'm ending this once and for all! Is it over?
Oh shit. That wasn't like my life force. Oh right, because I don't have a fucking heart. Was I really connected to her in that regard? Oh, I'm probably gonna have a really weak heart. Oh, my hair goes back to the better version. Oh, thank goodness. Wait, what does that mean about Sothis? What happened to Sothis? Okay, sure, save. I've spent so many hours on this, my goodness.
A rising flame was alight as the flow of time carved a new history for Fodlan. With the fall of Ferdiad, the Holy Kingdom of Fargus and the Church of Seros both vanished into the people's memories. Fodlan was finally one unified nation, under the rule of Emperor Edelgard and the Adrestian Empire. Embracing her newfound power, Edelgard could at last set about destroying Fodlan's entrenched system of nobility and rebuild a world free from the tyranny of crests and status. Yet, beneath the surface, an unseen and silent struggle began to take shape. From her seat of power, Edelgard could at last wage war on those who slither in the dark.
That's quite a piece of art. The style, like, I wonder, like, that's obviously has to be like some... Ooh.
The children of the goddess have been defeated at last. The shape of the world will be forever changed.
What happened to Sothis, though? You think that, for all intents and purposes, killed her? I don't know. That artwork, though. I wonder what style they're basing that on. Obviously, it's a real-world one. Sort of reminds me of medieval art. I'm not that big on, like, art history and whatnot, but it does look familiar. But, yeah, we did it. Tried to minimize the casualties with a middling success.
Humanity is free now. The world is ours once again. Can you believe it?
Oh, it's not over yet. You know that. We have work to do.
True, there is still much to be done. We can't ignore the possibility that our enemies will resurface one day. In the end, the fate of this world depends on the choices we make.
Wait, did they, like, go away?
I don't know what the future holds, but come what may, will you stay by my side? You chose to protect me at the Holy Tomb. Will you choose me again? What I'm trying to say is, I need you.
And I genuinely agree with that. So there has been something, an opinion I've grown based on the interactions with Dimitri and Kalon, that I feel like, and I don't know if this will carry over to the other routes, it feels like it would be weird if it didn't though. Like, basically, the question the game wants to ask are the questions of leadership and achieving something on a grand scale. Basically, the traits that you need to in order to do that, where each of the three feel like they're missing something vital. Like Dimitri, he seemed to lack purpose. He was all about revenge, and he was just like under the guise of like actually doing something for people. Like he was willing to throw away lives in order to save lives. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, it was an excuse he was obviously telling himself at that point. So he didn't really have purpose. He did have passion, though. He did have empathy as well. I'd say that those are the three things: purpose, passion, and the empathy in order to know when to stop, basically. Not that... I guess for Edelgard, of those three, empathy would be the severe thing that she's lacking, and I don't think she doesn't have empathy. I think she's just so laser-focused on her goal, where it felt like it was Echo here, the MC, that was pulling her back down to earth and making her realize the important things she was really fighting for. In the same way, Dimitri was on about, like, how dare you kill these people, and stuff like that while throwing away lives himself. Edelgard felt like she had an aspect of her where she's doing it for the people, she's doing it for a better world. Fine. There are definitely times where it felt like she treated it as a military thing. She treated it very coldly in order to get through the fact that she's making those sacrifices. And it felt like having the Black Eagle squadron around her, as well as Echo and whatnot, pulled her back a bit. That's what it felt like to me. And in Claude's case, he has the empathy and the purpose, but he doesn't have the passion to take him all the way. So they each have like one defining thing that they're missing, essentially. And if it does go the same way with a war and whatnot in the other routes, I would fully imagine that the story is making up, much like it was for Edelgard here, making up that critical flaw of leadership. So, and I sort of agree with her. And I like how the character I ended up having for Echo was someone who ended up, like, honestly, between really valuing the students and really valuing, like, laughter and happier lives and stuff like that. I felt like it was a good contrast that really, like, just in my head, made them feel like they really did fit together quite well. Where Echo managed to be the thing that grounded Edelgard in a way that could keep her and help her make up for that defining character flaw in her leadership. Which means when I go Golden Deer, I think I'm going to, like, try to focus my character that I do for that with personality. With as much as I can actually employ it, that makes up for what I see as Claude's defining flaw, which would be passion, right? So, at least that's how I've seen it. Obviously, this is one route, but that's the impression I've gotten from Claude, Dimitri, and Edelgard and their dynamic that we've seen through this war. Elle, please accept this as a gift. Wait, what am I giving?
Called me
Oh.
Elle. That's... That means more than I can say. And this ring, it's lovely. Thank you, my dearest friend. I will happily accept it. I must admit, I feared my feelings would be unrequited. So long as I had you by my side, it never mattered how many enemies I amassed. You were all I needed.
Well, in general, yeah. Again, I felt like I felt the dynamic between them developed very well and fit with the themes of the story, so that's why I like this relationship.
All this time, I longed to share my feelings with you, and it seems you wished for the same. Now, our wishes have come true. This feeling, it's overwhelming.
What if I just go like, JK? It was a joke, haha. Oh my goodness. I'm actually curious how that would go down. Now then, your burdens are mine to bear, which I think is the important part.
Absolutely not. I won't allow it. From now on, we face the world and carry our burdens together.
Wait. That's the point. Wait. That was my point. Oh, whatever.
We will crush those who slither in the dark and restore peace and order to Fodlan. I will then find a suitable successor and hand over the reins of the Empire. When all that is done, it will be just the two of us. I look forward to starting our life together in the light of a glorious new dawn.
Well, then, let's make it happen.
Yes, that is all we can do for now. We must remain focused on our goals. To think that I may truly call you my partner and equal now. The solitary reign of Edelgard has come to an end. From now on, we walk this path together.
Something look off about that?
With time and care, the darkness shrouding this world will be lifted. You and I will become the light that shines over Fodlan, just as you have shined upon my life.
I was about to say, it's not going to the main menu, is it? Oh, okay. It's been a while. Holy moly. Is this the end? So we're not going to fight those that slither in the dark? Okay, well, certainly sets up a potential sequel. If so. Oh, look at that 37 turns. I got better, guys. I did. But that's sort of like, that's sort of a theme in the, that was sort of a theme during the, free time skip stuff. I suppose by the end of it I was getting down to lower turns. Yeah, I was. An ocean view. Trying to remember which one that was. Oh, no, that was, at least that was Flames and Cetus. It doesn't show all the auxiliary battles? Aww. You can sort of see who were the, best units. Constance just, like, occasionally was just fantastic. And Lysithea really turned up the, turned it up in the end. Oh, Echo was the MVP for the end? Good. Good. Okay. Oh, hey, Sylvain! Sincerest of no... Oh. As Margrave Gauntier, Sylvain devoted his life to improving relations with the people of the Serang region. With oration alone, he succeeded in helping create a new way of life for nobles, in which relics and crests were no longer viewed as necessary. Though he went down in history as an extraordinary lord, it nevertheless became customary to refer to cheaters as sons of... Oh, boy. After the War of Fodlan, Eureka threw himself fully into the struggle against those who slithered in the dark. Visage masked by the likeness of death itself, he laid waste to his enemies with a scythe that terrified friend and foe alike. When it was all over, he stole away his secret and vanished without a trace. His whereabouts thereafter have been the subject of much conjecture. Also, this is auto-advancing, and it's auto-going to the next one, or it was. Okay, yeah, it is. Anna's business savvy proved to be a great asset in the post-war reconstruction of Yargmog. Once the restoration was complete, she disappeared from the area entirely, though tales of a mysterious merchant were passed down in every corner of Warner for centuries to come. Some say that she continues her travels to this day, eternally peddling her wares and ever in search of the next lucrative opportunity. Yeah, she didn't have any support, so... That is pretty generic. Linhart abandoned his inherited position in favor of a carefree life at Yargmog Monastery. There he spent his days at ease, whiling away the hours at the fishing pond or in his private study. After his passing, a treasure trove of documents was unearthed, revealing the key discoveries that he made during his many years of quest research. Okay. Oh! Balthus accompanied Lysithea home to help her parents restore their family land, securing the aid of his younger brother, who had been the lord of a nearby domain. Years later, when the end of their hard work was finally in sight, Lysithea relinquished House Ardeli's king's nobility, ceding the territory to a nearby lord. Shortly thereafter, Balthus brought her and her family to Kupala in Fodlan's throne. There they fell in love and lived peacefully, happy lives, blending in with the people. Oh, okay. So why was Linhart by himself? When Galatea territory was seized, Ingrid argued strongly for the preservation of its borders. Her request was granted, and she was appointed to rule. From her new position, she gave her all to ensure that the people of Galatea lived peaceful lives, and put in years of hard work to reform its farming practices. Her efforts bore fruit to the people's delight, and Galatea became a land of plenty. Oh my goodness, I can't think about it. Oh, okay. Okay, these two? After the war, Felix attempted to set out on his own, but was waylaid by Bernadetta, who begged him not to go. Which way to say, Felix ended up marrying into House Varley, the title of which Bernadetta had inherited. The couple got along smoothly, although it was rumored in the early years of their marriage she once had to restrain him physically to prevent him from taking a trip to the Akima Mountains to train. It took him a while to get out of that habit, didn't it? As the years went on, Bernadetta became more reclusive, and Felix took over the many day-to-day duties of the house, documenting the latest increasingly sounded the name Felix Count Varley. Huh. Oh, wait, no, I want to make a comment on that. Wait. So she became more reclusive? Oh. Sort of a pessimistic. Okay, well, I'm going to try to think of it in a way where... Because the whole thing about the relationship I liked between them was that it felt like they didn't have to become someone different than they were. Like, whether... Like, with Bernie, like, her reclusiveness wasn't so... Like, it was partly because of her being fearful and whatnot, but she still enjoyed it more than the other options. So I guess with Felix, it's just sort of natural that she wouldn't feel the need to go out, especially when she has someone that she enjoys spending life with, basically. And I guess Felix found a new calling, while also being pulled back from just trying to make his life entirely into training. I'd say that's a win. Oh, yay, these two. After officially becoming the new Duke, Iger, Ferdinand found that he had a new neighbor in Constance, whose revived noble house was granted the old hermit territory for its domain. It was a persistent move by Emperor Edelgard, as Ferdinand and Constance were quick to marry and merge their adjoining territories. The couple's diverse talents helped them overcome countless obstacles together in pursuit of restored land and a new social order for the Empire. Okay. So there's still nobility, basically. They're just not, like... Shortly after the war, Bridget renegotiated its diplomatic arrangement with the Adressian Empire, ending its service as a vassal and becoming a full ally. As part of the agreement, Petra, Queen of Bridget, was wed to Hubert, Marquis of Vestra. Some say the marriage was purely political, ordered by the Emperor Edelgard, while others insist that it was of their own accord. Although they led busy lives, sometimes they lived separately. Still, their shared home, Westerfonland village of Nouvelle, was filled with their many children, suggesting a loving union. Oh my, okay. Okay, I suppose, yeah. Because their whole thing was that Petra wanted Hubert to see her in that light, the same way as Edelgard one day. So that would imply... That's actually a perfect setup for Hubert, isn't it? Gets to help an ally and everything. In recognition of his achievements during the war, Caspar was given the title Minister of Military Affairs in the new Etruscan Empire. Though his command developed a reputation for occasional recklessness, he proved to be an able leader, guiding his troops to overcome countless obstacles. In his personal life, he began to spend a great deal of time with Dorothea, who returned to Middlefrank Opera Company after the war. When her efforts brought the opera house to the peak of resurgence, it said that Dorothea relinquished her position as songstress in order to retire with Caspar. They are rumored to have spent the rest of their lives together. Okay. I thought they had a nice dynamic. Oh. Yeah, Echo and Edelgard ended the tyranny of the godlike being. Echo was wounded and lost the power of the progenitor god, but it mattered not, as she and Edelgard had each other. To ensure a lasting peace, the two fought against those who slither in the dark, to ensure a society where people can rise and fall by their own merits. They spent their lives reforming in the antiquated class system. Goddammit words. They achieved much in their time together. Said that it was sometimes spotted leaving the palace private to enjoy the world they had created. How they spent those precious moments, none but the two of them will ever know. Oh, good that they finally found time to just have fun. Okay. Well, it seems like everyone found purpose in life. That's nice, so they can end up together. Okay. Oh? What happened to Sothis, though? Is she just gone? Okay, well, I guess we've reached an ending. That's a thing. I really have enjoyed this quite a bit. As you can tell by how this is probably around 90 hours now. Whew. And... oh, what's the latest episode to have gone up? Another episode's gonna come up soon, basically. Whew. And it's like, I'm still like not even halfway probably through part 1 in terms of episodes going up. I've spent so much time on this, my goodness. Yeah, but like I was saying about Edelgard and whatnot, I was talking about it before, where I do feel as though the story itself, and given that we're ending there, yeah, I think it had a lot more to do with the major character flaws for each leader. And I'm going to assume the other ones probably go in that same fashion, whether they go in a different story or not. Also, Ray is fucking crazy. My fucking goodness. Fucking crazy motherfucker. Oh. So overall, I'd say the reason I've played so much of this and played so much of it frequently is because I don't think it's the best at anything. Strategy-wise, I'd say it probably has pretty high end for that. That's been refined a bunch over the years, I imagine. Strategy gameplay-wise. But it also has two other elements that I really like. So, I'd say my favorite things in games are story-driven stuff. The ability to have sort of like a sim experience where you can sort of make it your own in a way. Whether that's through gameplay, in developing different, like, say, this classes and developing people different ways, or developing the story in a different way through choices and routes and, who hooks up with who, basically. That sort of thing. So I really like that too. And I also like just a lot of good, interesting characters and character dynamics and whatnot. And it felt like, especially early on, I'd say less so on the second part, since it was sort of doubling down on the dramatic war story part of it. In the first part, it felt like you were always switching between interesting strategic gameplay, interesting character development in terms of like gameplay-wise with like teaching and whatnot, and like interesting characters and their dynamics and developing that in different ways. And you always just like switch from one to the other. It's like, I wouldn't say any of them were the absolute best thing ever or my favorite version of that sort of thing, but the way that they did it, and I felt like it was paced really well, where you could jump from one to the other to the other. Now, the times where I really felt like I was a little burned out on the game were when I spent just like a ton of time in a battle, that sort of thing. Where it's just like, at that point, it's just like, okay, I sort of want to take a break now. If the battle didn't take too long and it was like a reasonable amount, then I felt like jumping to the next thing, and then jumping to the next thing. And then by that point, any sort of wear that I felt from doing the battling, I could jump into the other thing. Into the battle again. And honestly, I think that is this game's greatest strength. Like, part of the reason I enjoyed Awakening was the ability to matchmake, honestly. Sort of, kind of honestly, yeah. Because the whole thing about Awakening, and, I guess I won't say it in case spoilers, but there's a thing in Awakening where you can matchmake in the same way. And there's a significant part of the story that changes based on the matchmaking, which was really interesting in my head, at the very least. And it's the reason I played it multiple times, because I wanted to do different ways. Like, the first time I went through, I was the male character, and the second time I went through, I played the female character, and matched up characters differently. And it was interesting because it makes it feel like your experience is unique to you. Like, I went through this route, and I'm sure a bunch of people have gone through this route, obviously. But it feels like it's mine in a lot of ways. It feels like it was Echo's journey. And I really like that. And the ability to pace it well so you can develop that while also not, you know, worrying too much about getting burned out on certain aspects of the game. I think that's what it did really well. And I know some people have mentioned that they'd be interested in seeing me going play earlier Fire Emblem games. And while I might be open to that, I think it's a big asterisk that one of the reasons I feel like I've enjoyed this so much and I put so much hours into this, like, so quickly, is because I feel as though it balanced stuff. It's because I feel as though it really balanced stuff extremely well against one another. And it made actually playing through it really good. And I never really got bored of it. So, like, even when I had to put down the game, it wasn't that long where I felt like, oh, I could jump in and do this other thing, because it's not like I'm jumping in and doing the thing that I started to feel worn down on. I do this other thing, and then like, oh, I'm back at the point of being okay with doing the other thing again. And I think it did it excellently. In a way I can't honestly say, pacing-wise, I felt like another game a game has done. Now, I feel as though, because of the fact that some of the other parts will get dragged down, I feel as though, like I said, part 2 didn't do it as well, because not as many of the other parts were as fleshed out, because there wasn't as much to do, in my opinion. Also, you ended up getting so many activity points where it really added up over time, so the pacing sort of died down quite a bit. I imagine a follow-up playthroughs can have something very similar. But yeah, if you have an interest in seeing me play another Fire Emblem, that's the big asterisk on there. That I would probably be up for it in some manner. There's lots of games I want to play, so it would be thrown on the list of that. If you can make a fair argument for why me, having enjoyed this in the ways I have, would enjoy another one, I'd be up for it. But I will say, I quite liked the Divine Pulse stuff. I quite liked a lot of that. Mainly because it made me a little bit more reckless, but it also meant that I could experiment more. I learned a lot because of Divine Pulse. I wasn't sitting back and turtling like a bunch of the time. I was able to try things. I was able to, like, if I put this guy here, how much damage are these people going to do? Because I'm not going to sit back and look at their magic and my resistance and look like, oh, it'll carry the 5. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do the math in my head. That's boring. That's going to ruin the actual experience. I was able to learn more based on that, and be able to become, as you could see through the battle data, more aggressive over time, and be able to do things a bit more freewheeling, in a sense, without having as many problems. There's actually only one of the battles that I ended up actually losing outright, right? Where, well, I guess 2, if you include Chapter 2, and me just basically being like, yeah, I have no chance of finishing this. Chapter 2 of the Cindered Shadows. So there's only 2 that I really did that, and the first one was just because I tried to do the Death Knight stuff, and that ended poorly, basically. So, I will say, In terms of another playthrough, I do want to do Golden Deer. I do think I'm going to record well ahead on that in the same way, because thinking about it, I assume there's also a part 1 and a part 2. Especially since the other characters had that sort of stuff. I figured I'd go through it and have my 13, 14 different characters, get them set up, work through that. And I want part 1 to only last a few episodes, and I still need to finish Cinder Shadows. There's a few more, I think there were 7 chapters I read for that. 7 or 8, one of those two. I still have a few more of those. So I sort of figured, in terms of after this, I'm going to go into part 1 of that and probably trade off between that and Cinder Shadows. Something along those lines. And have it so that the part 1 only takes like 3, 4, maybe 5 episodes or something like that. Really, basically just the differences between the different stuff. Well, unless it's like not what I'm expecting and it's going to be entirely different. It felt like going through that first part of it up until like the ending few chapters that it was really specific. Or really vague and generic enough that it could be applied to any of them. Especially considering all the stuff where we were going fighting the kingdom early on, and had very little to do with the Empire. We had almost nothing to do with the Alliance though, so maybe it will be different. I guess I'm making a few assumptions here. But if it is as redundant as I expect it to be, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to, one, in between this and the next time I record, at least, going through another playthrough. I'm going to do research on a lot more of the gameplay mechanics. And I'm going to develop a plan of what I want to do. I'm not going to play in Maddening. I thought about it, and I have looked up a little bit about how difficult it is, and it sounds extremely unforgiving in a way where you have to develop characters in a certain way. And like I said, one of the interesting parts about this is the feeling that you can make your own story, and that includes developing people into unique, interesting classes. Like, I can't imagine Edelgard being like a dancer normally, but it worked, and she was like key to me. She was like a key to a lot of my strategies. So, and a lot of times that was the case. So, ultimately, I would say I'm probably going to play in hard classic again. But I'm going to try to develop interesting plans for each of the characters. Understand their weaknesses and strengths, and not just like, don't just do like whatever seems the strongest. Like Thea seems like she's really strong, just like attack-wise, so maybe I'll do something less pandering to that, for example. And in the end, that was a long credits. I've been talking for a while, haven't I? Okay. Oh, Sothis. So, 1 extras. What have we got here now? Wipe data. No thank you. Yeah, still on that. So, I also figured that I'm going to do the male version for the next one. The one that didn't win out, or I didn't pick, basically. Emil. Oh, it's thundering outside. Story events from the game. Crimson Flower. Cindered Shadows. The Goddess Tower. Huh. Is that just like the end scene or something like that? Well, I'm definitely not playing through that again just to get other endings. I am not doing that. And it felt like, it felt like my own. It felt like my own journey. And that's one of the things I really liked about it. So I'm not going to, like, go test all the different varieties of that. No, there's actually quite a few more scenes to that. Okay, well. So, can I continue? Clear Oh, there's little Sothis in there. What happened to her, though? Oh my. You can carry over your endgame data into a New Game Plus. Endgame saves and New Game Plus saves are indicated by a Sothis mark. In a New Game Plus, you can retain your renown in hired battalions as well as your shop and saint statue levels. Ooh. You can also use your journal to spend renown to unlock professor levels, support levels, skill levels, combat arts, and abilities gained from mastering classes that you unlock during your cleared game save. Well, good thing I didn't actually do a bunch of the crap. Use the unit appearance option in your journal to choose your units. Look from the options such as their monastery uniforms or war attire. Portrait. Profile portraits and voices will not change. Wait, wasn't I already able to do that? Huh. Additionally, you may receive items containing crest powers based on the choices you made in your cleared game save. Use your journals to spend renown to unlock any crest item you do not already possess. If you have any Fire Emblem character amiibo, try scanning them at the amiibo gazebo in the monastery. Notice what may happen. Yeah, fuck amiibos. You know what? Good to know. I'll do that. I wonder exactly how advantageous that is. Well, I'm probably... Some of those stuff sound really good, though. I'll probably try to get professor levels and whatnot up, but... Okay, well. I've really enjoyed the game. Music's been good. There's been some great ones, too. Honestly, one of the things that makes me come back to it so much is I found myself just listening to some of the music in between recording sessions and whatnot. Because it is quite good. At least the epic battle music. That stuff's fantastic. Visually, overall the presentation felt a bit thin. It felt like there was... Okay, so I suppose problems with the game. Overall, I don't think there was a major defining flaw that would break it in a lot of ways. Make it not a great game. But the two main things that come to mind in terms of what could be better is the presentation felt a bit thin. You had a few cutscenes ultimately throughout the game. And even those were pre-rendered, which is sort of a shame. It feels like the graphics are good enough that you could do some unique, interesting things, with all that, and actually animate out interesting cutscenes, more dynamic cutscenes and whatnot. Well, it felt thin basically, and I'd say the same is for the other stuff, just more, especially you know how I was talking about Felix's motivations and whatnot, how I sort of saw them. Well, 90% of that was still me, speculating, right? So, it's just more of that. It feels like some of them were explored in terms of, motivations and going along with stuff something with Edelgard and that stuff. It felt like there was an actual, motivation for her to be part of that by the end. But... it also felt as though there was a lot of that just not there. You sort of had to read between the lines to a significant degree in order to just understand even what made some of these characters tick. And honestly, I'm not saying the game treat anyone like an idiot, but there's a point where you just want to know a little bit more of a definitive answer rather than like Ingrid. I think the only thing I ever heard about her from any of that is I hope I can convince my dad to be on our side or something like that. And I never heard anything about motivation, none of that sort of stuff, etc., etc., etc. And it's just, it is what it is, basically. So, more of that, basically. It felt like there could always just be more. It felt like there could have been more to the war. It felt like there could have been more to the development of Dimitri in that, and understanding where he's coming from. Because, Edelgard basically said, oh, you're out for revenge, and we had the whole stuff where they were talking about he was a Tempest, or whatever, the Tempest King or something like that, where he was just, a storm that would destroy everything in its wake. Despite being a person who's like, how dare you kill all these lives in order to achieve something? Again, you're sort of reading between the lines in a lot of ways, so... More, basically. And some of that might be answered in other routes, but I just spent 90 hours on that, so... I do not think that I will play another route after Golden Deer. I would have a hard time imagining that I'd still have the motivation to move forward with another playthrough after that, so... And I've been talking for a while. I'll be able to sum up my thoughts and if they've changed again at the end of the next route. So, this has been Echo 6 with Fire Emblem 3 Houses. We've reached an ending. Now, let's go for another. Drive safely, everyone. And hello and welcome to an extra little Fire Emblem thing that I'm going to be putting at the end of the finale for Crimson Flower. And I want to do this for Golden Deer too, so as an FYI, when I get to that point near the end of it, feel free to call out and say, hey, Echo, I want you to go do these that you may have missed, or maybe you didn't recruit someone that has an interesting support with someone that you weren't going to do anyways, or something like that, or because I'm probably not anticipating, I'm going to keep my mind open to it and the possibility open, but I'm not anticipating to do Blue Lions at the very least on the channel, versus like maybe watching another Let's Play myself or something like that by that point, or something like that, or recommending something along those lines for some support that I may not have done and you're interested in seeing me react to and that sort of stuff. So these mainly are ones that people pointed out I didn't finish and I didn't realize, or ones that I personally am quite interested in myself. So, I didn't finish the Lysithea and Felix one. So, I'm going to watch them on YouTube, essentially. Instead of actually going through, because that's the big upside of stuff like YouTube. That's all there if you want. You don't need to complete it in the game. If you're curious about how other stuff happened, you can just go look that stuff up on YouTube. You don't need to be an actual completionist. All the content's out there. It's not like 10, 20 years ago where a lot of it wouldn't be. Even 10 years ago, probably a lot of it would have been. Well, I'm just saying.
Ah, yes! These are the moments I live for!
Are they?
I don't understand you.
Ignore the watermarks, by the way.
You again? Can't you see I'm busy?
Trust me, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So how did you like the cake? I bet you ate it, didn't you? I knew it was irresistible.
Yeah.
What was the experience like? I'm curious, from a research perspective.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know, I didn't eat it. I gave it to some kid.
How dare you, Felix? How dare you? And I remember the first one, yeah. That's why I was interested in where this went. It was just one of those ones that I couldn't develop. Or I didn't really have time to develop to a point where it would have come to a conclusion, so I didn't really try to get it too much farther ahead by the end.
You gave it to some undeserving child?
We've been over this. I don't like sweets.
Cake is not a sweet. Cake is the divine essence of the heavens.
So sweet.
Everyone has their own tastes.
That's true, but life without cake is no life at all.
Wow.
Your dismissiveness regarding cake is inexcusable.
I'm not sure why you're so fixated on this.
Surprisingly close-minded.
I simply can't resist the spongy magnificence of cakes. I don't understand how you can be so dispassionate about it.
I don't know, I just don't like it.
There's quite a few things like in life that I just don't care for in the slightest that a lot of people like pie. I don't give a shit about pie. I've never liked pie. Or anything like I just don't like pie. And I have family members I know that I've talked to that just don't like cake. Like straight up. They like other stuff, but they don't like cake specifically.
Just try a bite. Come on, open up.
No, I already told you I don't want it.
But I made this one, with care and attention, love even. And I went light on the sugar, just for you.
Not light enough, I bet.
Is she lying?
If I eat this, will you stop bothering me?
More or less.
No. She's saying that because she expects you to like it. If you don't like it, that's just gonna make her more obsessive.
Just don't give it to some silly child this time.
Let's get this over with.
Felix. Felix.
Felix! I've awaited this fated
Okay, Felix is probably my favorite character. Well, him and Claude are up there, I believe. Felix is interesting because he's just like... There's an aspect to him that normally I would really dislike, in terms of him like being just like that sort of grouchy, I hate you sort of thing, like, yeah, tell it how it is, that sort of just like, that sort of thing. But really, it's just more like he's so out of tune with how the world typically works. He's just like, fuck it, I'm not even going to try anymore. I'm just going to give my opinion. I'm going to hold my values true. And he has very respectable values. And he's going to move forward with that. And he's not going to care because he's done trying to, go along with the world. And honestly, if there's one thing over the course of this route in Crimson Flower, going through it and editing it and whatnot, that I really gained an opinion about, is that the world in this sucks ass. Not like the world building, but a lot of the like noble obligations and that sort of like, especially in the kingdom, from where I can see it, like the chivalry and whatnot, where it just plays up the nobility sort of stuff to a level where it's just like frighteningly dangerous at a mental level.
day.
You don't change. Still prattling on about
How's
it.
the cake?
Aw, come on. I just want to hear what you thought of the cake I gave you.
It was edible.
If by edible you mean incredible, then yes, I agree.
I love that rhyme.
It was satisfying and lightweight. I imagine it would be quite useful as a battlefield provision.
Please refrain from lumping delectable cake into the same category as provisions.
You're upset and I don't understand why. I'm complimenting the cake. You cured my dislike of sweets. For that, I thank you.
Interesting.
You have an interesting way of giving compliments, but I'm glad you liked it.
Yes. Got any cakes on you?
You say that as though I just carry cake on me at all times. Did you want some?
But do you?
That's not what I meant. If you baked a cake, however, I wouldn't object to eating a slice.
If cake is what you want, you can just ask me directly. It just so happens I have a brand new recipe I tried out, special for you. It's delicious and not overly sweet. Perfect for you.
Okay.
Go on, take a bite.
I could totally get down to like making them so they're not overwhelming.
You love it, I can tell.
That's sort of the same for me too, where for a lot of things I dislike, like I think I have pretty sensitive taste buds and stuff like that, or just to the extent where my likes and dislikes, I don't like things that are overwhelming. Like I don't like spiciness. I don't like things that are just really sweet. Like that just, I like subtle, moderate flavors very typically.
Here, try this one out too. See? So amazing, huh? Just keep working on that sweet tooth of yours. Then we can share cake notes together and eat cake together all the time. That is, it just sounds nice is all.
An excuse to hang out?
Okay. That does sound nice.
Felix isn't really the sort of person to not be afraid to admit he's wrong when he's wrong, so... Yeah, I'd say my favorite characters from the Crimson Flower route when I was playing through it. Edelgard, no particular order. Edelgard, Felix, Petra, Bernadetta, Caspar. Those are the big ones that come to mind that I really quite enjoyed. Okay. This one I was told I just forgot about this one and it was pointed out that I wasn't going to get it by the end. I didn't even realize I had an A support.
Strange. I never thought you and I would be able to sit together and drink tea like this.
Drink tea, you say? But that does not smell like tea. The aroma. Would that be coffee by any chance? Imported from Dagda, I believe. I do not care for it myself.
Your knowledge is impressive. Although I should expect nothing less from a noble, I suppose. Lady Edelgard surpasses you in nearly every respect. But I think when it comes to positivity, you may actually exceed her.
I would say that's quite likely. Edelgard is someone who's a very, she believes in herself, but I feel as though she has a sort of cynical edge to how she sees the world as well as herself in a way Ferdinand doesn't quite have. And it's the reason Ferdinand's so much more positive on the nobles than she is, where he sees them as an opportunity to elevate oneself. She sees them as an excuse to elevate oneself above others at others' expenses. So there's just that little bit extra in how they view that could make all that bit of a difference.
Excuse me?
In a way, it is merely a mask for your tactlessness. But even so, your relentless optimism, well, suffice it to say that it is your best quality.
What?
You are constantly striving to grow as a person, to seek new knowledge, to push new limits. When others might get distracted or abandon their path, you never yield. In that aspect, at least, I think you are unmatched.
Hubert, are you all right? Do you have a cold? Or the plague? Am I hearing a deathbed confession?
Wait, plague?
It was only a compliment. There's no need for such dramatic exaggeration.
Is there a plague in this world?
Dramatic, you say?
I do my best to analyze others without emotion. Even if I find you to be a contemptible degenerate, I can still evaluate your abilities in an impartial way.
So, because you assess people without emotion, you are totally confident in your appraisals. It seems I was wrong about you.
You actually understand.
Please, do not compliment me again, though. I find it quite unsettling. It is like hearing a snake sing an aria. At least put it in a letter next time.
In the very unlikely event that there is a next time, I promise to put it in writing.
That was... Hey! Is there more? I thought there was... Yeah, it's a relatively long... Okay.
Hello, Ferdinand. Wait, that aroma?
Ooh.
Your nose is as sharp as ever, Hubert. Yes, it is a bag of fresh
Oh,
coffee.
he's not... sorry. I expected him to be smelling Ferdinand. My bad. Thought I was gonna get, yeah, sort of
Why did you buy coffee?
at the end there.
You said you don't care for it.
My stance has not changed. Drab, bitter, with that muddy texture. If I have even a sip, my hands start to tremble.
Rather harsh. What are you doing with it then?
Well, you see... wait a moment. What is that? Is that an imported tea from the East?
It is indeed. Keen eyes.
Flaunting my favorite drink right in front of me. And you do not even drink tea. Fiendish. It is for Edelgard, I assume.
Before I answer that, I would like to know what you are doing with the coffee.
Well,
Is it a gift? Perhaps for someone you fancy?
A gift, yes. For you.
For someone you fancy.
Who is the unlucky... Did you say for me?
Oh no!
This coffee is a gift for me. Have I heard you correctly?
Yes, that is what I said. A noble does not go back on his word. Just take it.
I should decline.
Why? Come on.
Why?
Because you made fun of him? That's not enough.
The thought of receiving a gift from you, unbidden and unreciprocated, fills me with revulsion. Therefore, accept this tea as a gift from me.
From me? Are you certain? I would hate to deprive the intended recipient of such a fine tea.
That would be difficult to do, since I bought it with you in mind.
That seems unlikely.
Oh, in that case, thank you. What? You were planning to give this to me all along?
That is what I said.
He's blushing.
Really? Only one thing to do. We must take a tea break.
Together.
Very well. But tea is not what I will be drinking.
Alone.
Of course. I will make you some coffee.
Together.
Then I will prepare the tea.
Oh, that's nice. I've definitely heard worse excuses for people to get along than over tea versus coffee comparisons. And yeah, that is very close of them. I remember when it was pointed out that I had missed it, that it was more romantic than you might expect from them. And I can see that. I can definitely see that. Okay, I didn't recruit Alois. Sadly, it's one of my biggest regrets throughout the Crimson Flower run. I didn't recruit him during this, but I do it during the next route, but I'm not recruiting Petra as part of it, so I was interested in this one, because I did a brief search of the best supports in the game, and some of the places that had just like had it listed. I didn't read specifically why, but it was one of the ones that stuck out to me, so I was interested at the very least.
Who goes there? Oh, Petra, it's you. You appeared out of nowhere.
Very much doubt that.
I have a question to be asking you.
Sure, I don't mind. I'll answer your question.
You are always surrounded by people. When you speak, they smile. I feel envy. I want to know the secret to having a happy conversation.
Ah, you need a lesson on breaking the ice. That's a slippery subject, but I bet we can crack it.
Don't. She'll take it literally. She's taking it literally.
Now, let's see. Well, the crucial thing is to start conversations. Be proactive about saying hello. Ask questions. Also, it might help to stop sneaking up on people.
Start conversations. Stop sneaking. I am understanding. Is there more?
You can always try throwing in a joke to lighten the mood. The trick is to keep trying so you get practice. Put your best foot forward, and try not to put it in your mouth.
With a big asterisk to that entire point, that if you do it too much with the right people, you're gonna just alienate them really early on, and that's why people typically don't do it, and have to actually like work up the courage to do it because they know that's a possibility.
What are you saying? Why are you laughing?
Oh, I just made a little joke.
A joke? Can you give me more explanation?
Put your best foot forward. That's an expression people say that means try as hard as you can. And putting your foot in your mouth doesn't really mean what it sounds like. When you put your foot in your mouth, you are saying something rude without meaning to. And so, what am I going on about?
You're explaining the joke.
There's nothing worse than trying to explain a joke.
Well, when you're making puns on sayings in your language to a person who is not a native speaker, then you might have made the mistake to begin with. Cultural puns, too,
Petra,
probably.
You've gone awfully quiet. I suppose you've lost faith in me as a conversation tutor.
You are playing with your words. We do such things in Brigid, too. In Fodlan, you have a strange way of playing with a word's meaning. I am admiring of it.
Ah, cool, she gets
You
in.
admire me? Oh, Petra, no need to say kind things out of pity. You didn't hurt my feelings.
Am I hurting them?
If you were sincerely complimenting me, then no. To think, you just started learning how to chit-chat, and you've already got a silver tongue. You really put your money where your mouth is.
More laughing. This must be a complex technique for word playing.
Okay, she admires him because she doesn't get it. She just understands he's trying to do it. Yeah? Where is this even going to develop?
I've shared a fair number of jokes with Petra by now, though there is a strange shame in having to explain them all in detail.
It will help her. It would help her.
Is that Petra? She's talking to some kids.
Our hunting had great success today.
You're amazing, lady. Did you really catch all those birds? How do you even get that good at hunting?
You wish to know the secrets?
Yes, please. Teach us! Teach us!
Hey, Petra, what were you saying just now?
I was asked to tell the secrets of my hunting.
Oh, wait, are you going to try using...
Training is the most important for hunting. You can start by Breaking the ice!
Oh no.
Huh?
No!
Wait, I think you mean breaking the ice.
Oh no.
You sure broke something there.
Oh no. The kids don't find him funny. My God, awkward.
What I meant was,
That technique was an incredible one. You are the most comedic genius in all of Fodland.
I don't know if I'd say genius
Oh
per
my
se.
God.
I don't really get what they're saying, but it looks like the lady's having fun.
Oh wow.
She's, a pretty funny lady.
I have been called a funny one. It is all because of your doing, Alois.
They seem more shocked than amused.
Well, I mean,
I want even more improvement.
there are reasons to find this funny.
I wish for you to instruct me all day. Will you be agreeing, Professor Alois?
Petra seems to be headed in a strange direction, but it is her choice. If she starts telling lots of bad jokes, I hope the people of Bridget don't come after me. Not my fault.
No, actually entirely your fault, but okay. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. I actually sort of regret not getting this one. Oh, is that all of them? Okay, that's fine. Okay, this is the last one I intend to do for this. I was always scared of talking to him properly because he was totally just gonna kill me. But I am curious how their support plays out.
Lord Yuritsa? I believe he used to be a professor at the Officers' Academy. It was also my understanding that he was personally recommended by Lord Arundel himself, landing him a position as a sword instructor.
Was that the purpose?
Whatever the case is, behind that mask of death, there's an emptiness, a void. This is probably just a rumor, but I heard he was found and taken in by Her Majesty herself. Supposedly, he's the heir of the Hrim family, but I also heard he's only a distant relative who was adopted. He sure is mysterious.
He's Mercedes' brother, right?
You've been asking around about me.
Yes. I have not.
It matters not to me, one way or the other. Do you want to know of my past?
I do?
Why?
You're weird.
Friend or foe? That's what you're trying to determine.
Well, I'm trying to determine if you're gonna kill me.
But you won't find answers merely with words. There is only one path forward. Raise your sword if you have the nerve.
No, I think this is what I was trying to avoid.
And fight me. If you want to know my heart, know my sword.
I'm not really a fan of killing people if I don't have to.
I cannot kill you yet. The Death Knight knows that very well. I've been told to refrain from killing you until the war has ended.
By whom? That's a good question.
The Emperor.
Really? Edelgard? Both? Presumably Edelgard.
The young Emperor discovered me long ago. Though back then, she was still a princess. Ultimately, it was she who erased my past. She placed me into a family that was disintegrating, that I might be their heir.
Really? Okay. So she found you. What does that mean?
To survive, the Death Knight must spill blood. Left to his own devices, he would kill innocent passers-by. Through the Emperor's grace, he was allowed hunting grounds. That is why, to this day, I follow
So you
her.
just have like...
I am not yet ready to yield such fertile hunting grounds. Nor am I ready to truly fight you.
Okay, So you have like some weird split personality thing going on, and that somehow has developed in one of those personalities. Or, I don't know. You seem like you have a nice side to you. I'm not sure if that's just you not being bloodlusty, and it's the same personality, or if you have like split personalities, but some aspect of you really likes killing people. So Edelgard took it and it's like, okay, I'm gonna at least control that and make use of it.
Of course, were I not here to hold him back, he would cut you down without hesitation. As for me, I too... never mind. If you've no intention of fighting, then be gone. Perhaps it is he who is to blame, but I feel oddly when I look at you.
Is that unfortunate or fortunate? Or...
The way your sword glides through the air, I am in awe.
Don't stick up behind me.
Paired with that sword, it may bring about my end.
Is that a positive? Do you want to die? Yeah, that's what I would ask.
I do not know.
Is that what you're searching for?
Perhaps I do.
Some death with a meaning?
Long ago, when the Death Knight saw you in the Holy Mausoleum, I came to an understanding that it is you, and you alone, who are capable of slaying me. Only you, with your sword, can do it. Upon reflection, I can see that our encounter was fated to happen. Ever since then, I've been thinking.
About why I was chosen?
Why, indeed. Why was the Death Knight fixated so fervently upon you? At that moment, he fell under your spell. You, who wields the sword of the Creator. And now, as I fight alongside you, I too fall victim to your spell. That I am unable to fight you is truly regrettable. Now is not the time. Uniting Fodlan and overthrowing the Church are mere trivialities to me. All I truly need is you. You, and nothing else.
Yeah, this is weird. This feels very weird. It feels like you like me?
Perhaps that is true, viewed in a certain light. And please, don't get yourself killed by some foolish brigands. You must live, that we might fight one another to the death. I must know which one of us will emerge victorious. For now, I will have to use my imagination and savor the potential outcomes of that future. I can see it now. You swiftly dodging my blade, and then at last, your sword piercing my flesh. I stumble to the ground, gasping for air, breathing my last. Or perhaps my blade will pierce you first.
Yeah, this is weird. Do you really want to keep going on with this?
No. That is enough. I must refrain from such fantasies. They make my urge to slay you all the stronger.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It is enough to stand by your side while I await that day of true pleasure.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't look forward to fighting you.
Indeed.
That's weird. It's fucking weird, man.
You and I are fated to be intertwined. I will follow you to the very gates of hell. Utterly boring. These kills are worth less than nothing to me.
Oh, is this the S?
Are you done? Let's move on already.
Oh, this is probably the S ending. Yeah, probably.
The war has ended, and yet this incessant swatting at flies never ceases. I have yet to claim my moments to kill you, it would seem.
You won't be killing me.
Ah, or will I? The clash of spirits fighting for their lives. Battle is the one thing that puts blood in my veins.
Well, no, your heart is, but...
Funny, is it not? That we should fight toward the same end, only to vanquish one another in time. I do not quite know how to articulate these curious feelings. I think it could be described as contentment? Perhaps it stems from discovering such a creature as you. All this time, I had determined it was the Death Knight who was drawn to you. Yet, fighting alongside you, I have come to realize that you are the only being who truly means anything to me. Once we exterminate the rats lurking below ground, and all of this madness is settled, once that finally happens, all of this will long be forgotten, and we shall indulge in the finer things together.
It's not. Yes, the lower one.
Indeed.
It's not actually embracing what he's saying. Just live, man.
I abandoned all that I am. My true name. Whatever remnants were left of my past. But now, with the chance to fight you, it is my only reason for existing. I finally understand. It is you alone who can slay the demon that lives inside of me. The Death Knight. This strange feeling rising up within me. Is this what is called love?
What? Oh, don't say you love it.
That pleases me.
Oh boy.
Let us away then, beyond these shadows that we have dwelt in for so long. To the very depths of hell, I will tumble down with you.
My hope is that in the end, what he really was, you know, wanting, what he really wanted was for the Death Knight to be figuratively killed, so that he could be freed from that, like, desire, that, like, innate curse of just wanting to kill people, basically. That's my hope, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah. Okay, well, that has been Crimson Flower. So for now, I currently, in terms of recording stuff, am past the time skip in Golden Deer. I haven't recorded anything in a month or two just because apparently Xenoblade Chronicles and Three Houses are just like half a gigabyte too big to actually fit on a standard Switch's storage space at the same time. So, between the two of them, give or take. So I haven't done that for a while. I've been focusing on Xenoblade, but I've recorded well ahead. For the upcoming stuff in terms of what we're going to be doing on the channel, I'm going to be finishing off the DLC chapters. There's 3 of them left. And then at that point, I'll go into the first pre-time skip part of Golden Deer. So, the series is not anywhere near over at the moment, at the very least. Like I said, I'm not completely ruling out the possibility of doing Blue Lines after that. I sort of, kind of, really doubt it, though. Because this has been a long series, and I can only imagine how much I want to just simply move on to something new. By the end of Golden Deer, and even on the premise of coming back and doing Blue Lines later, I think I'm more the sort of person that would be more interested in doing Blue Lines by coming back and watching a Let's Play myself of someone else going through stuff and that sort of thing, and experiencing it that way, or some other thing of that nature, rather than doing an entirely new 50 to 80 hours just to go through that, basically. So I think I'm just going to leave it there for today. I'll see you all next time when we go back to Past Echo when he was doing the DLC and whatnot. Drive safely, everyone.